Welcome back to another video. Today I want to discuss something kind of interesting. There was a post that I saw on X that really caught my attention. A username by DaddyZJ had a post where it asked ChatGPT, if you were Satan, how would you keep the younger generation from breaking the chains of living in the rat race and living in poverty? ChatGPT had a really interesting response. And on a personal level, I do think AI is really important for our future in advancing other technology, medicine, and helping us in our daily lives. But I've had conversations with numerous CEOs that work with and on AI, and they've said one thing that is in common, that if AI gets in the wrong hands, it could be devastating. So in this context, ChatGPT is something that learns from society. So I'm going to replace the word Satan with society just to keep it on a lighter level. So in essence, how is society keeping you poor from ChatGPT's perspective? Before I dive deeper into this video, please hit the like button down below, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to help grow our channel. Now that you hit the like and subscribe button, let's dive in. So the first thing that ChatGPT said they would do is promote a consumer mindset and encourage a culture of instant gratification through consumerism, making young people believe that happiness and success comes from buying things rather than investing in experiences, education, or long-term goals. This would keep them in the cycle of debt and spending instead of saving and building wealth. Honestly, this is way too prevalent almost anywhere we go nowadays. We grow up in a society where big corporations market their product on telling you how you should look and feel. An example that I can give you is cars. So let's say one individual drives a Mercedes Benz and the other individual drives a Toyota. If you ask most people, who do you think is successful? Most individuals give you a similar answer saying that the individual who's driving Mercedes is probably more successful than the person in the Toyota. But let me tell you, this is far from the truth. Dave Ramsey revealed what cars most millionaires drive, and Mercedes didn't even crack the top 10. The top 3 cars that most millionaires drive are Toyota, Honda, and Ford. But marketing has taught us that if the car is more expensive, most likely the person behind the wheel is more successful. So when we're focused on buying the most expensive or latest gadget out there, this takes away from our main goal, which is becoming financially independent. So we should pay attention to what we are buying, if it's something that we really need or if it's a want, and trying your best that you don't get caught up in all the marketing schemes. The second thing ChatGPT said it would do is devalue financial literacy. I'd ensure that schools and society don't prioritize financial education. I'd make it unnecessary or too difficult to understand so they remain uninformed about how money works, leading to poor financial decisions, high interest debt, and paycheck to paycheck living. Honestly, this is very on par with what we see in society nowadays. We are finally seeing now schools provide some sort of financial literacy to their students. However, I think it's at a really basic level, and they don't really tell students how they could apply it to their life. Currently, the World Economic Forum has reported that 48% of North Americans are financially literate, which has dropped by 2% in the previous years. So less than half the people in North America understand basic finance. And personally, I feel like the 48% might be a little high, because even if 48% of the people are financially literate, it doesn't mean they're using it to better their financial position. We can see that by Forbes' survey that over 78% of individuals are living paycheck to paycheck, and this problem is only worsening year by year. And I partially don't blame all people because there's so many credit options that you have to buy anything instantly. So it's really important that you get financially literate. And nowadays, it's become a lot easier to get financially literate. There's so many books out there that you can read to learn basic finance. Also, there's so many YouTube channels out there like mine help you to understand basic finances all for free. So becoming financially literate is the first step on understanding how money works and your first step on becoming wealthy. The third thing that ChatGPT said it would do is push unrealistic success narrative. I glamorize overnight success stories and make it seem like the wealth is only attainable through luck, fame, or risky ventures. This would discourage young people from investing in steady, long-term career paths or entrepreneurship. There's so many stories out there of individuals taking off overnight from their business that they started or from their investments, and we really saw that during the crypto run. Or one of the influencers that you watch on social media, they might have gotten big overnight. And one of the latest ones is the Hatua girl. But the truth is that there's a very small minority of individuals that will end up becoming wealthy and famous overnight. But for most of us, it will take a lot of effort and work to get there. To give you an overview of businesses, in the first year a business operates, 23.2% are likely to close. 48% of them will close within 5 years, and 65% of these businesses will close within 10 years. But even if your business takes off overnight, maintaining it is a whole different issue that people don't talk about. And now talking about crypto, yes, a few people did become millionaires overnight or even billionaires. But no one talks about how many people are losing money in the crypto market. Currently, it's reported that 70% of crypto traders are losing money. So at the end of the day, the news will report things that will get clicks. So we should not create false expectations for ourselves. Be prepared to work hard and put in a lot of effort. In the end, it'll all be worth it. The fourth thing that ChatGPT said it would do is encourage overworking and hustle culture. I'd make it seem like working harder is the only way to succeed, perpetuating the idea that more hours and more hustle are the solution, rather than working smarter, creating income streams, or seeking balance. This would keep them exhausted and too busy to think critically about escaping the rat race. This is something that we see a lot. People are working crazy hours at their job, and on top of that, some are even starting side hustles that are time consuming and not even profitable. And we see things on social media that are saying that we should work like no tomorrow, sleep is for the weak. But the truth is, it's all about working smart. You might have to put in the time to get things off the ground, but once things are going, you should find balance. If you work too much and there's no pleasure in your life, you will probably hit a burnout and you'll end up quitting altogether. If you're working a job that has crazy hours, it might be smart to get a job with less hours and maybe with similar pay. And personally, I used to work for one of the bigger accounting firms in Toronto, but being there after 3 years got very stressful. I realized the longer I stayed, the more responsibilities they were giving me, and I was not being paid for all these extra responsibilities. So I decided to find another job where now I end up working half the hours that I was working at the accounting firm, and I'm actually making more money. Also, if you want to start a side hustle, you can be smart and find a profitable one that works with your schedule. In the end, our goal is to be financially independent and retire early, or retire to pursue a passion. We should not be overworking ourselves to death and not even being compensated for it. The fifth thing that ChatGPT said it would do is distract with endless entertainment. I'd make sure the younger generation are constantly entertained and distracted by social media, video games, and mindless content, so they don't have the time or mental energy to think about their financial future or plan for long term success. All right, I have to be honest, this is something I am truly guilty of. TikTok, out of all the social media accounts, is my downfall. I go on TikTok thinking I'll be on there for 5 minutes, and I end up scrolling for half an hour. Social media is something that our generation has grown up with. Our parents' generation did not grow up with any social media. So it's kind of become second nature for us. We can scroll on X, Instagram, and TikTok for hours and not even notice it. One thing I have done to combat this situation is honestly just leaving my phone in the other room. I truly find that if my phone is in front of me, I end up using it a lot more. But if my phone is in the other room, I'm just too lazy to get up and get it. So I just end up working on the task that I have on hand. We truly need to get serious about our work. And trust me, when you're less distracted, you end up getting a lot more done. The sixth thing that ChatGPT said it would do is promote a culture of fear and scarcity. I'd amplify the fear of failure, making young people too afraid to take risks like starting a business, investing, or pursuing higher education. If they believe opportunities are scarce or too risky, they'll stick to what's familiar, even if it's keeping them poor. I see this fear in people a lot. The fear of taking risk, and sometimes it's not even risky, it's just people are uncomfortable with trying something new. The biggest fear I've seen is people are just scared of investing. This applies to young and older individuals. Also, the same for starting a business. People are just afraid of being seen as a failure if the business doesn't work out. The truth is, if you don't take that risk now, when will you? And the last thing you want to do is live in the what ifs. What if I had invested? What if I had started that business? Where would I be now? In my opinion, the best time to take a risk is when you're young. Most likely, you don't have a family that depends on you. And there's a good chance that your parents might even help you support in starting this business. So it's better to take that risk now than live in regret tomorrow. The seventh thing that ChatGPT said it would do is undermine critical thinking. I'd encourage reliance on external validation and conformity, making people less likely to question societal norms, like the idea that they must follow a traditional career path, get a mortgage, and stay in the rat race. This would stop them from thinking independently about how to break free from poverty. I think this kind of relates to the last post, that there's an increased fear for taking risks. We hear a lot from our parents' generation that once you finish high school, you should go to college and university, where a lot of people will end up taking student loans. Then you study hard, find a good paying job. Once you have that job, go buy a house where you need a mortgage on it. You end up getting a car, which you might need a car loan for. Then you get married and have kids. I don't want to say the traditional way is totally wrong, But I think you can be smart about it where you can avoid a lot of debt. When coming out of high school, you don't have to go to college or university. You can go into the trades. I find that most individuals in trades have an easier time finding a job than people graduating from high school and university. And once you've gained some experience in the field, a lot of individuals start their own business and they make a lot of money. When it comes to buying a home, you don't have to buy the typical single family home. You could buy a duplex where you live in one unit and have the other unit rented so that it helps pay for your mortgage. Also, when it comes to buying a car, I recommend buying a nice used car in cash. So that way you can avoid a lot of the depreciation and you don't have to worry about car loans. You may not get external validation from other people for not buying a big house or buying the newest car, but you'll be financially better off than all of them. The eighth thing that ChatGPT would do is encourage debt dependency. I normalize the idea that debt is just a part of life, whether it's a student loan, whether it's student loans, credit cards, or high interest loans. Keeping young people trapped in financial obligations they can't easily escape. Taking on debt or a loan has become such a normal thing that people don't even think twice anymore. Like I said before, right coming out of high school, most people take on student debt. And the total federal outstanding loan currently is over $1.6 trillion. The average federal student loan is over $37,000. And if you count private loans, it's over $40,000. And then on top of student loans, you're probably going to use a credit card to buy your groceries, gas, dinners, and other activities. And then if you don't pay your credit card back in full, you're probably going to get dinged with an interest rate of anywhere from 18 to 24%. So to get out of debt dependency, I'd recommend that you buy things in cash. And if you're going to use a credit card to build credit, which is a great idea, only buy enough that you can pay back your credit card debt at the end of the month in cash. And if you really need to buy something on credit and you don't have the money for it, make sure it's a priority to be paid off as soon as possible. So I couldn't find the ninth thing on there. Maybe I missed it or I wasn't in the post. So the 10th and last thing that ChatGPT said it would do is promote hopelessness and cynism. I'd feel a narrative that system is rigged and there's no way out. So why even try? This would make young people feel powerless to change their circumstance, causing them to give up on breaking the cycle of poverty altogether. By implementing these tactics, I'd create an environment where young people remain distracted, indebted, and uninformed, making it nearly impossible for them to break free from the rat race and build generational wealth. I think this is the last but a really important point. This is what the younger individuals view society in general. And there's a perception that getting wealthy is unfair and almost impossible. So we hear things like down with capitalism and eat the rich. Yeah, I'm sure capitalism isn't perfect, and not every rich individual is ethical. However, to say that we're doomed, I don't think that's right. Actually, I think it's far from the truth. You can still get wealthy as long as you're spending less than what you're making, you're saving and investing for the long run. You'll be just fine. Again, I just find the younger generation has this unrealistic expectation that you're going to get wealthy overnight. And most people won't. So as long as you're willing to work hard, you'll be fine in the long run. Your first step should be to getting financially literate, and that will help you to build wealth. I hope you guys found this video interesting and took away something from it. Please stay tuned for future videos. And until next time, remember to keep investing.